Alright, thank you very much. Hello everybody, it's your good friend Pozzible here, and I'm back with a next look at the next batch, another look I should say, the next batch of what movies are coming out this weekend. And I have to admit, of all the movies, as long as I've done this, I have never experienced a movie group like this. This is a group that had great potential, but unfortunately a lot of bad stuff precedes them. So let's get started here by looking at Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit. That's right, once again, we're going to reboot the Jack Ryan series, and we're going to start all over from the beginning again. You know, it's one of those, if at first you don't succeed, try, and try again, I guess. This time you got Chris Pine as Jack Ryan. You got Keira Knightley as his wife. I believe they've just been married. And, you know, it's starting at the beginning. Kevin Costner is here as his handler because once again, this field operative, this CIA analyst is going to be a field operative, which is one thing that always bothers me about how they do the Jack Ryan series. The Jack Ryan series is basically supposed to be about this guy. He's an analyst. He's really not supposed to be the action guy. Now they sell him off as the action guy, but when you actually watch the show, you'll see that there's a lot of stuff going on there. The one other part that bothers me, Kevin Costner. Kevin Costner is going to play his handler. However, you get this feeling that, you know, he's just going to die because you know who Jack Ryan's handler is. It's this, you know, black guy played by James Earl Jones and Morgan Freeman. Both times they wound up killing him off, but they usually keep him around. I think Kevin Costner's going to die here in this one because, let's face it, I think he's going to have a Sean Bean moment. You know, Kevin Costner's going to be the guy who dies in all the movies to help motivate the hero and stuff like that. That said, he's going back to Russia to battle some terrorists. Ultimately, I have to give this movie a see it. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. I'm hoping that they can finally reboot this series. Oh, one final note, no John Clark. That bothers me. You know, whenever you have a Jack Ryan movie, you gotta have John Clark. It's just a must. But when I looked at the IMDb list, no John Clark. But I'm hoping that this will be good. Spy thrillers are touch and go, but you know, for the most part, they work, and I'm really looking forward to this one. So I recommend see it for Jack Ryan. Let's give this series one last chance. Next up, Right Along. Yeah, what can I say about this one? You basically have your typical buddy, supposed to be buddy cop. Think of it more like Ice Cube is the cop, Kevin Hart is the wannabe cop. But more than that, he wants to marry Ice Cube's sister. So you can imagine it doesn't start off too well. When I watch these trailers, I wait for the laugh. You know, and Kevin Hart just reminds me too much of the loudmouth. He's not funny, but he says anything and everything that comes to his mind, and it just doesn't work. So ultimately, I'm going to actually give this movie a pass. I don't think it's going to be worthy. I don't think the humor is there. They try too hard to be funny, and ultimately they just come off as being stupid. All right, next up, The Nut Job. Now this was one you gotta wonder, how do you get this wrong? Okay, well, I'll explain it to you. It's supposed to be a heist movie with animals. Okay, that's pretty funny. You know, they want to go after a bunch of nuts that this one guy has because apparently something happens and they don't have enough nuts for the winter. That said, they pull in a bunch of pop culture references. When you watch the trailers, all you get is pop culture references. And I wish they would have focused on making this their own story as opposed to a spoof movie. You know? I was looking forward to this, and ultimately I don't want to give up on it, so Nut Job ultimately has to get a decide. If for no other reason than the talent in it has a good record. It's got Jeff Dunham, it's got Will Harnett, it's got people, Liam Neeson's in it, so it's got some good people in it, but I don't know, there's just something about it that just rubs me the wrong way. An animal heist movie should work, you know, it should be exciting, but there's something about that Nut Job, it just has me thinking it's going to be a bomb. And finally, The Devil's Due. We have a lady who's going to have Rosemary's Baby when she finds out that her baby is the devil's spawn. What is my opinion on this movie? The problem is, it's not the story that gets me, it's everything else that gets me about this movie. You have another found footage movie. You got the shaky cam. You got the off-screen action because the camera's not pointed in that direction, but you can pretty much know what's going on by the voices, okay? These movies annoy me. I mean, ever since Paranormal Activity, The Blair Witch Project, and the host of others, these too cheap to fail horror movies really get under my skin nowadays because it's a genre that I just wish would go away. You know, I mean, Paranormal 5 came out with the marked ones. Actually, I don't even think that is Paranormal 5. I think that's just supposed to be a spin-off. But this one, just another batch of another genre that just, it's time. You know, it's time to drop these found footage movies and, you know, all the cuts and all the shakes and all the bad acting of all the nobodies and stuff like that. So, yeah, definitely a pass, if not a must pass, because I can't stand these movies. That's just me, though. Okay, sorry about that. Shouldn't vent so much. Well, guys, that's it for me for today. I will see you at the theaters.